Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Our topic for today is force, work and energy. How are they related? I'm sure you've all heard of these words, but today let's take a scientific look into what these words really mean. So, I hope you're all doing really well and I hope you're all excited for this topic. First, let's take a look at this picture. We'll just describe what's going on and then we'll see what's the connection with force and work. So here we have a girl who's pushing a box. In this picture, we have a boy playing with a toy car, so he's rolling it across the floor. In this, the ball is falling from a height, so it's falling downwards back to the boy, who must have thrown it up, of course. Then we have a man carrying a heavy box. So, right now, maybe we don't realize what's the connection between these pictures, but they all have a few things in common. So, what is common about all these pictures? There was a force acting in all these situations. So, how is there a force? What is a force? So, a force is a push or a pull that's acting on an object. So that's the easiest way that we can identify whether there's a force acting in any situation. It's a push or a pull that's acting on any object. So now there are a few points that we need to remember about forces. The first thing is that it's not only used to move an object, but it can be used to stop an object as well. And we can use a force to change the direction and the position of an object. A force can also be used to increase or decrease the speed of a moving object. So it's already moving and we can increase or decrease the speed by using a different force. So maybe we think that forces are only applicable to moving objects. That's not true. Forces are also acting on all the objects that we see around that are not moving as well, or which we will call it stationary objects. Let's see how that works. So this is what we said. The basic way of identifying a force is if it's a push or a pull. So the first picture with the two boys playing, we see a pulling force. So both of them are pulling in two different directions. So we have forces acting in two different directions. When we come to push, we have a boy pushing a swing. So that is also a force because it's a pushing force, right? Yeah. Let's look at the types of forces. And then we'll understand how forces are acting on different objects. There are lots of different types of forces, but we look into two very important types. The first, frictional force. I know, maybe you've not heard of this word, maybe it's a new word, but frictional force is very easy to understand because it's a force that's exerted when there are two surfaces that are in contact with each other. So what do I mean by that? Two surfaces. So we know lots of surfaces. The floor is a surface, our table is a surface. If I take my hand, this is a surface. So when I put both my hands together, we have two surfaces which are in contact with each other. And that's exactly what we need for a frictional force to exist. So friction will act only on moving objects. So its direction will be in opposite to the direction of movement of the object. Which means maybe I'm applying a force to a box and moving it towards the right. Frictional force is going to act in the opposite direction, which will be the left side. So it acts on moving objects in the direction opposite to the direction of movement of the object. And what is the first point? That it only exists when two surfaces are in contact with each other. So frictional force, we need frictional force for many of our daily actions like walking, playing, running, all of that. So without frictional force, we can't actually do these actions. So we'll see why. It's because when any object starts moving, we know that eventually it comes to a stop, right? When we throw a ball, eventually it comes back down. If we are kicking a ball, it stops eventually. So that is because frictional force is acting on it and it brings it to a stop. Otherwise, nothing would stop moving and that wouldn't work, right? So that's why frictional force is so important. Now, we know that frictional force exists when there are two surfaces in contact, right? So we also must remember that friction depends upon the nature of these surfaces. It depends upon both the surfaces. So if we have a rough surface and a smooth surface, there's more frictional force on the rough surface. We just have to keep that in mind. Now, the second force is gravitational force. Maybe you've all heard of gravity. So the force of gravity is gravitational force. So what it does is that it pulls all objects, whether it's moving or stationary, downwards towards the center of the earth. So we can say that gravitational force is actually Earth's force. It's Earth's pulling force or pulling power that pulls all objects downwards towards the center of the earth. It is a non-contact force, which means it is actually the opposite of frictional force, because for frictional force, what did we learn? That we needed two surfaces in contact. But gravitational force, it's a non-contact force. For example, we already saw the ball falling down. So is the earth in contact with the ball while it's falling? It's not. It's up in the sky, right? Which means gravitational force can take place even without it being in contact. That's what we mean by non-contact force. Now, work. So we're going to connect the force that we just learned about with work. Now, what is work? We use work in our daily sentences, right? We say our parents are working, we have so much homework, we're doing schoolwork, all of that. So we're not talking about that work right now. We're going to talk about the work that is connected to the force, which we just learned. So how are they connected? First, let's think of two situations. First, a boy is pushing a box and it moves across the floor. Second, a boy is pushing a box, but it doesn't actually move. So what can we understand from the two situations? A boy is pushing a box. What did we learn about pushing? That pushing is actually a force. So both the boys are applying a force, for sure. That is understood. But one is moving and the other is not. So what is the difference between the two situations? If both of them are applying a force and one is moving and one is not, what is the difference? So movement is the difference. The first box is covering an amount of distance while the second one is not. Which means in the first case, there's a work that is happening, but in the second case, no work is being done. So from this, can we define what work is? We talked about two components. One is applying a force and the second one is movement. And when both these components are present, we have work being done. So in which situation is work being done? Situation number 1, when a boy is pushing a box and it moves across the floor. Now, what is work? Work is said to be done when a constant force is applied to an object which causes the object to move in the same direction as the force. Now, this is very important. When we apply a force and the object moves in the same direction as the force, we can say that work is being done. Okay? So same direction as the force is very important. Now we have 4 situations. We're going to see if work is being done or not. Now in the first case, a person is pushing a box. So the direction of the force, you can see the arrow, and then direction of motion is in the same direction. So yes, work is being done. In the second case, the direction of force is upwards, but the direction of motion, you can see they're walking towards a different direction. So no work is being done. Why? Force is being applied, which is number 1, but it is not moving in the same direction as the force. So no work is being done. Third, a girl is picking up a package. So the direction of force is upwards and the package is also moving along with her, right? So both are upwards. So yes, work is being done. And the last picture, now she's already picked up the package, which means the force is still upwards because she's holding it against gravity, which we learned is the downward pull, but she's walking sideways. So the force and motion are no longer in the same direction. So no work is being done. Okay? So that's the simple way of identifying whether work is done, is whether the force and the motion are in the same direction. Let's go back to our initial 4 cases And let's identify whether force and work is happening. Now, we already said there's forces in all these situations, right? But now we can identify which force. So first one, the girl is pushing a box. Now we don't know whether she moved the box or not, right? But if she does move the box, we can see that the box will move in the same direction as the force. So yes, work is happening. If the box doesn't move, then no work is happening. Then the second case, where the boy is playing with the toy car, the car eventually comes to a stop. And we know that is because of frictional force. And is work happening? Yes, because the force is being applied and the car is moving in the direction of force. Now the third picture, the ball is falling downwards, and that's because of gravitational force. And since it's moving in the same direction as gravity, that means work is happening. And in the last case, the man is holding a box and he's walking sideways. So the force is upwards, but motion is sideways. So no work is happening, but a force is still being applied. So from here, I hope you all have understood what force and work is and how they're related. Two things to remember is that number one, we need a force for work to happen, but work need not happen just because there is a force, because we need some kind of motion. That's all for today's lesson. I hope you all understood. Thank you so much for watching.